I'm going to move along.
I'm going to call Dr. Megan Woods.
Thank you very much, Mr Chairman, and I'm very happy to take a call at this committee stage on part 3 of this bill. And specifically, I want to talk to section 35 of this bill, and I want to talk about what it is that working income are going to require women on the, sole parents on the domestic purposes benefit to do. Because what we have is a bill that introduces tougher obligations for sole parents to be in work on the basis of there being outdated views of what people can and should do. We're being told that this is just a change to the system. And what it is we're seeing very much in this legislation, the Welfare Working Group's premise that sole parents have low rates of employment compared to the norms in other countries, reflected in this legislation. Well, what we do have is that, let's have a look at the reality of this. We have more than 65% of those people who are on the domestic purposes benefit on that benefit for less than 4 years. Most people do not want to be on this benefit, and most people don't choose to stay on this benefit. Most people, contrary to what some members opposite think, do not see this as a lifestyle in which to revel in. So if we actually have a look at what the reality of the problem is here and what it is that this legislation seeks to do. Because what we in Labour are opposing this legislation because we maintain that if employment opportunities are to be promoted for single parents, there are major issues that we need to confront and that we need to have a really real and realistic conversation about. And that is around the issues around the quality of the part-time work that's being offered, whether or not the flexible work options really do exist in reality, affordable access to early childhood and quality early childhood education, and importantly, access to education and training opportunities for people who find themselves on this benefit. We were told by the person who'd looked up the interweb and found all these thousands of jobs out there that there's all these jobs out there, but the only fish hook is you might need some skills and training because some of them required that you had some qualifications. And what do we see about these jobs being offered out there on the internet on seek.com and trademe.co.new Zealand, the now official site for New Zealand employment statistics according to the member opposite, is that actually what we have is a piece of legislation that does not have the commitment, the real commitment to the training required and the opportunities required to get people into quality work and into the quality work that will actually put them on a path of being able to provide a good income for their families into the future. We have a whole lot of rhetoric around this from members opposite, but what we see when push comes to shove, as we saw yesterday when I put up a very reasonable amendment to part 1 of this legislation that simply asked that we could include that one of the options that work and income could direct young New Zealanders to was some of the courses being offered under the Skills for Canterbury packages. But no, what we have is we want members opposite to stand there and say, we're committing to getting young people to NCEA level 2. Well, actually, what do you mean in reality? We put up an amendment that actually was going to offer people some real choice, some real opportunity and the real option to get ahead. And what we are seeing under clause 35 in part 3 of this legislation is we are seeing a whole lot of rhetoric around people on the domestic purposes benefit being compelled and there being obligations on these people within this clause to go out and seek work and training opportunities. But what we're seeing when it is put to the test with members opposite is that we are seeing that there isn't a commitment to real and meaningful training and work opportunities that will get these people back into work. So it just doesn't stack up and the rhetoric doesn't make it. We also have within this clause, we have that there's an obligation on people on the domestic purposes benefit to have general obligation to take all steps that are reasonably practicable in his or her particular circumstances to prepare for employment. Now, part of those taking practical steps when you're a sole parent is having adequate access to early childhood education. And this is adequate access to quality, Mr Chair.
Jan Logie.
Mr Chair,